Hello. We lost about 3.5 hours of the secondary audio source, which is tied to the players. So, unfortunately, since I can't recover said audio in a 3.5 hour recording, I'm just going to have to kind of recap what went on. So, for the few of you that watch this stuff, you can follow along. It's unfortunate, it's a bummer, but at the end of the day, at least my players got to experience that session while they were there. For the audience, it's not the best outcome, but this is what you're going to get, so you can at least follow what's going on, even though you're probably going to be missing a few things. The group woke up from their sleep in the ruined carriage. Abraham and Samir had a private conversation regarding their trust towards Kriarin and some other things before the group eventually all gathered together. And while walking along the road, had debates, discussions about their reasons for wanting to fight against the Dominion. And it just boiled into, discussions and reasoning about the convictions of the group for why they want to fight, why they're doing what they do, and some doubts, perhaps. The group came across a large abandoned mining camp on the road and found some supplies, notable being a satchel contained with a pipe and some vials of a black substance which Kriarin smoked later in the day. It started to phase and disappear and briefly disappeared into the Shadowfell. Also in the camp they found the skeleton of a dwarf hanging by his ankles, and his body was bent and displayed, and the skeleton was bent and displayed in a manner similar to the corpse of the foreman they found at the Frost Iron Mines. Same sort of symbol, same sort of style of display for the body, motif reasons. Keeping that in mind, making notes, and finishing their investigation into this camp, Kriarin and Abraham had a spar. Samira joined in, which caused Kriarin to feel like they were ambushed in a way during the fight, and that it wasn't a fair fight, and that they were a little frustrated by how they were being treated so far on the road. While on the road, they passed by trail markers left by the Dominion of criminals executed by the Dominion, and left as trail markers to sort of show where the road is and when you're coming up to a crossroad, as the roads were never maintained to make it hard to travel. One of these trail markers was a mind flayer that Abraham recognized was a breeder for intellect devourers from his colony. While the party rested at night, Abraham ate the head of a bandit leader, and ate the head of the bandit leader that they had encountered at the Frost Iron Mines, and saw a vision of the bandits that attacked them on the road, and learned that these bandits were being forced into robbing people on the road to scare people, to keep people in their settlements and afraid of traveling, as ordered by the Dominion after these bandits were caught robbing a jewelry store. And these bandits were all just assorted teenagers who were just trying to survive. When Abraham saw this vision, he saw through the eyes of the man that Samaji ripped that off of, and noticed a survivor, a young female dwarf named Sigrun with ponytails, pigtails, freckles, pink face, wisp of a beard, run off. After their watch, after their rest, after some hours on the road, the group came across a stark white pine in the shadow-touched wilds, with trees facing it, and a throne carved out of the tree. Kriarin revealed that the corpse of the werewolf in the tree, sitting in the throne, judging from an engraving on the tree, was called Fenric Ulvaster, champion of the Silent Wolf. Kriarin revealed that the Serendor, the Silent Wolf, is a brother to Thalassirian, and was the guardian of nature for the continent, and Thalassirian, the Rime King, was the guardian of the people for this continent. The group eventually reached the Altar of the Moon, And after some discussions and whatnot with the Aranar Vale, the bipedal snow leopard, lycanthrope, offering words of encouragement and comfort to Samira about the loss of their brother, led the group into the altar, expressing that clues in the moon and stars told them of the group's arrival, but were surprised to not see Samaji with them. The group were led beneath the altar in a series of stone tunnels and murals dedicated to an entity made of numerous beasts in their visage, and revered by werewolves and beasts alike, Serendor the Silent Wolf. The group were brought into a tomb-like prison where a wolf-like centaur with elvish features with hints of owl and stag was bound in vines and roots. This individual revealed himself as Serendor the Silent Wolf and asked why the group had come, telling them to speak plainly, or their bones would feed the roots of this chamber. So that is kind of the gist of what happened. It was only 3 of the 5 players, so the discussions were mainly about Abraham and Samira not trusting Kriarin and Kriarin's dislike and their feeling of upset based on how they were being treated on the road by these individuals. And yeah, that's kind of the gist of what happened. That was most of the session, was talking about their convictions and their doubts with one another, and then stumbling across Fenric Ulvastor, this sort of champion of the Silent Wolf, and then Serendor himself at the altar of the moon. Again, apologies for the corruption of the audio. It happens with something like this, and just how she goes. Hopefully issues like this are rare. Haven't had an issue like this in a few years now, but hey, it happens. It is the nature of technology. So thanks for watching, and see you all next time. Bye.